Leave the World Behind presents us a different kind of disaster movie. It doesn't feature any action stars. The leads don't have the ability to change or save the world or anything like that. Instead, we get dramatic performances, not over dramatic, just to note, but the type of performances which make it clear that this is a disaster movie that's focused on people who are just trying to survive the apocalypse. And yes, they're middle class slash upper class, so it's the usual type of people we see in these situations, but with it having the actors and the caliber that the actors bring, it's definitely different from the usual Gerard Butler and others who are going off to face this monster, asteroid, or what have you. So, to summarize the film, which we're going to try to do succinctly, Amanda is a marketing exec in New York, doesn't necessarily like people, is a bit frustrated with her job and all that it requires of her. And her husband Clay is an English professor who is worried about budget cuts amongst other things, but nothing of the legal variety like him touching or being with a student, that being a threat to his job. It's just budget stuff. So, with that in mind, Amanda decides for a weekend, her, Clay, their daughter Rose, and son Archie, they should go away to somewhere on Long Island for the weekend. She rented this mansion that was like over $1,000 for the weekend. And at first, things were very nice, calm, and cute. The kids play in the pool. Parents enjoy the open space. There's a room for everybody, and it seemed like a nice little getaway from the city. Fast forward to the nighttime, and then the owner of the house, George, with his daughter Ruth, show up, and red flags get raised. Amanda has never met George because it's one of those rental situations that are done through a website or app, so she don't know him. Add on that he's black, showing up in the middle of the night, and yes, he may be in a nice suit and Ruth in a nice dress, but again, Amanda don't know him. Her daughter's barely 13, and I mean, she doesn't really care about Archie, even though he's, I think, around 16, but, you know, her kids are in the house, and you got these strange people showing up, claiming to be the owners of the house, and, you know, she feels this is all very sketchy. Luckily, Clay's a bit more amiable, especially because George is like, I'll refund you your money, so for the next day or two, things slightly calm down in terms of living arrangements. Ruth doesn't like the fact that she and her father have to sleep in the basement, which is the spare room, while these people who are guests are sleeping in the main rooms, but we're going to set that aside because that's not the main point of this. The main point is George is aware that something is going on. He can't confirm it, but he has his suspicions based off of his network from working in finance, specifically in the stocks. And also getting extra specific, him working with people who work in the defense industry. So as things start to go haywire with technology, whether it's the internet, TV signals, and all that, it becomes clear that George knows more than he's letting on. And as his suspicions come true and he starts confirming things, it creates a very worrisome situation for everybody involved. And with it already being complicated because Ruth and George just showed up out of nowhere, and now there's all this stuff going on, it leads to distrust, conflict, and as we start to see what's happening in the larger world outside this little bubble on Long Island, it becomes very clear that as much as Ruth may think Amanda's racist and there are other issues going on, these two families may have no choice but to figure out a way to work together if they want to survive. So getting to the review portion, honestly, sort of like the summary, it's kind of hard to talk about this movie without giving everything away in the process because there's so much to it. But I'll start off with this sort of on the fence piece, and that's just when it comes to Amanda's family, it can very much feel like it's based off of Disney Channel archetypes. You got the son who's into girls and is starting to get a little bit much when it comes to it. The daughter who is sweet but kind of quirky since Rose is very much into Friends and is obsessed with the idea of watching the finale, which unfortunately she can't because the internet goes down. You have the dad who's kind of extroverted like a golden retriever and he's very friendly no matter what the circumstances. And then you have the mom and Amanda, who's very serious, stern, and I don't want to call her a killjoy, but definitely somebody who has to take on a more responsible role than the dad since, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to. That kind of bugged us a little bit, but at the same time, it makes a good counterbalance for what Ruth and also George bring in. For Ruth, a part of me loves Ruth because she feels very much black in a way that I can easily understand since she doesn't like Amanda's attitude. And of course, the instant trigger for a lot of people, especially if you're non-white, is part of the reason that a white person may or may not like you is because they're racist. I'm not saying that's always the case because there's so many other reasons someone cannot be liked for. As Ruth shows, Ruth is very rude, will bring up different things about how a man should tell her kids what's going on, and just, she likes to cross the line a lot, which makes Amanda have a multitude of reasons besides Ruth's skin color to not like her. Yet at the same time, what this film does for the adult characters, not so much the children, is give layers to them. Ruth might be an annoying character who some may not like, especially because of her race push, but at the same time, it's also reminded that Ruth is in a very awkward position. Yes, she comes from privilege, but at the same time, her privilege is based off of her parents. Her mom is somewhere traveling across the Atlantic right now during a time where planes are falling out of the sky, amongst other things. Her father, while it's good that he's privy to a lot of things that are going on, he's also trying to push himself into a leadership position, which puts his life at danger. For Amanda and them, yeah, they're kind of on the side and interested and cool from now, but if they decide to turn on him, what is Ruth going to do? She already lost her mom, and then if she loses her dad, she has no sense of protection, no sense of community, because she doesn't seem to know or really have a relationship with the neighbors that George has. So with that in mind, as much as she got a whole lot of lip, she's still this young woman who's very vulnerable. And then when it comes to George, he's taken on his leadership position to keep everything cool, calm, and collective because he knows if it's just him and his daughter, yeah, they can survive, but for how long is the question. So he needs to have Amanda, he needs to have Clay, maybe even the children be his new community in order to survive this, but at the same time, they have a whole lot of questions, starting from why he showed up suddenly, and he can't give it all away at once, since some of the information he can't confirm, other the information could potentially scare Amanda and her family to decide to leave and, find somewhere else to shelter in place. There's a lot of balancing, either in terms of motivations, actions, or else showing complexities with the characters when it comes to Ruth and George, which to me was the driving force of this film, and even the heart to a certain degree. And this isn't to downplay what Amanda goes through as a mother who has to worry about her kids, take on a bit more of an assertive role since her husband's not doing it, and things of that nature. But sometimes it feels that Amanda and her family is supposed to represent the everyman in terms of, middle class, nothing too fancy, but at the same time far from poor. And meanwhile, when it comes to George and Ruth, they're supposed to not only present something that gives you a bit of diversity, with Ruth giving you like a real, we're not just blind color casting, we are black, but at the same time show you what comes with privilege in terms of the positive, in terms of George's network and being able to know about things, but also the negative in terms of if the world goes to hell tomorrow, your privilege means nothing because dollar bills, the currency is worthless, and you having this big house and the assumption of all these things you have now makes you a target. Overall, when it comes to Leave the World Behind, it feels like a notable disaster movie since we're not following the heroes who can change or save the world. Instead, we're watching people who, some may be a bit more privy than others, maybe privileged than others, but overall, we're getting a very character-driven story where as things unravel, You get the type of performances that you rarely get from disaster movies or even dystopian movies if you want to make it in that realm. And it really not only gives you a quality movie to watch, but it even makes you think about, considering where the world is going, what could potentially happen in the future in the wrong hands.